the old sailors' saying goes, below 40 degrees latitude, there is no law. Below 50 degrees, there is no God. Cape Horn is located at 56 degrees south latitude, and the Drake Passage is even further south. Their reputation is so bad that it's hard to imagine anything worse. Today, you will learn where the most powerful ocean current is, why sailors were honored to wear an earring in their left ear, and how a private company could stand against entire nations. Cape Horn, located on the island of the same name, is the southernmost point of the Tierra del Fuego archipelago. It is more than 800 kilometers from Antarctica. Many mistakenly call it the southernmost point of the American continental landmass, but this is not entirely true. That title actually belongs to Cape Froward, while Cape Horn is on an island. For places like this, the phrase, the end of the world, is most fitting. Here, the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans meet, creating a unique yet treacherous climate for sailors. The weather on the island is mostly windy and overcast. With little sunshine, there are more than 280 rainy days per year. Air temperatures range from -2 to +14 degrees Celsius. The average wind speed is 43 meters per second. To put this into perspective, even the average wind speed here qualifies as a Category 1 hurricane on the Saffir-Simpson scale. This is why many call Cape Horn's climate the worst on Earth. Yet, despite these harsh conditions, people once lived here permanently. Since ancient times, the area between Cape Horn and the Beagle Channel was home to the indigenous Indian people. Their last full-blooded member, Christina Calderon, passed away in February 2022, taking their unique language with her. The Yukon people traveled in canoes, hunted marine animals, and fished. Over time, their population dwindled, with colonizers playing a significant role in their decline. Today, only about 8,000 mixed-race descendants remain, but they have lost both the Yukon culture and language. Currently, Cape Horn is home to a Chilean naval base, which includes a lighthouse, a chapel, and residential and utility buildings. The base is usually overseen by officers accompanied by their family. Such an assignment typically lasts a year, with most of the time spent in isolation. For sailors, it's a great opportunity to spend time with their loved ones, and a journey to the edge of the world is an unforgettable experience for the entire family. Residents of the island live in a house equipped with all the necessities, including the internet. The officers is responsible for maintaining the lighthouse and meteorological station, stamping visitors' passports, and communicating with passing ships. Additionally, they manage a small museum where travelers leave their flags. The second most significant landmark on the island, after the museum, is a monument in the shape of an albatross erected in 1992. It is dedicated to all the sailors who have lost their lives in this area. The first sailors to conquer Cape Horn were two Dutchmen, Jacob Lemaire and Willem Schouten. In 1616, the cape was named after the Dutch city of Hoorn, whose residents sponsored the voyage. Cape Horn is surrounded by the waters of the Drake Passage, an intercontinental strait over 10 kilometers wide. It is the widest named strait on Earth and also the deepest, reaching depths of up to 5,500 meters. The passage was named in the early 20th century during the Imperial Transantarctic Expedition when Anglo-Irish explorer Ernest Henry Shackleton decided to name it after the legendary navigator Francis Drake. It was previously believed that Drake had sailed through the passage in 1578, but modern sources dispute this. As with Cape Horn, the first recorded passage likely belongs to Schauten's expedition. The Drake Passage has earned a notorious reputation for several reasons. First, storms here are among the most powerful on the planet, with waves reaching up to 15 meters high. Second, the Antarctic Circumpolar Current, the strongest ocean current in the world, flows through the passage. It is the only current that moves through all meridians without being obstructed by continents or large islands. Its maximum speed in the Drake Passage reaches 14.5 kilometers per hour. If a ship sails from the Atlantic into the Pacific, it faces much greater difficulty due to opposing currents and winds. Third, from April to November, the southern part of the passage is covered in ice, meaning that in summer, icebergs and floating ice are common. But why risk rounding Cape Horn when Magellan had already discovered a safer route? The answer lies in the European obsession with the Maluku Islands, known as the Spice Islands. Spices were highly valuable at the time. While they could be reached via the Magellan Strait or around the Cape of Good Hope, the former was controlled by Spain and the latter by Portugal. By 1602, these routes were monopolized by the Dutch East India Company, the most powerful private company of its time. In 1669, the company had 40 warships, 150 commercial vessels, 50,000 employees, and an army of 10,000 soldiers. It engaged in political conflicts alongside nations. For example, in 1641, without assistance from the Dutch government, it drove out Portuguese competitors from present-day Indonesia. This meant that independent traders, lacking serious military support, had only one option to navigate the Drake Passage and round Cape Horn, despite the significant risk to their lives. The peak of sailing around Cape Horn occurred between 1850 and 1914. This was the golden age of maritime trade. Australian goods flowed to England, tea clippers raced from India to Europe, and gold prospectors traveled from the U.S. East Coast to California. This period saw the highest number of casualties. In total, no fewer than 800 ships and more than 10,000 sailors met their end near Cape Horn. Sailors' lives only became significantly easier in 1914. That year, the passage lost its former importance with the completion of one of humanity's greatest and most complex engineering projects, Panama Canal. By connecting the Pacific Ocean's Panama Bay with the Caribbean Sea in the Atlantic, the canal eliminated the need to sail around South America, shortening the journey by thousands of kilometers and profoundly impacting global shipping and the economy. Today, rounding Cape Horn and crossing the Drake Passage is an attraction for tourists seeking intense emotions and a serious challenge for adventure-loving travelers. Modern expedition ships are equipped with stabilizers, reducing motion sickness while crossing the passage. However, despite technological advancements, this route remains dangerous. For example, in 2010, the cruise ship Clelia II was caught in a violent storm in the middle of the Drake Passage, disabling its engines. Fortunately, the ship was rescued and reached an Argentine port without loss of life. Nevertheless, such incidents serve as a reminder that no matter how much humans consider themselves masters of nature, there are still times when it can pose serious challenges. Apart from cruise ships, the only vessels regularly sailing around Cape Horn today do so for competitions or round-the-world voyages. For a yachtsman, crossing the Drake Passage is comparable to summiting Everest for mountaineers. Sailors who rounded Cape Horn at least once were traditionally honored with the right to wear a gold hoop earring in their left ear, a special mark of bravery. Despite being harsh on humans, the Drake Passage is home to many animals. Travelers crossing it have a high chance of spotting hourglass dolphins and humpback whales, giant petrels, and wandering albatrosses. On Cape Horn Island itself, penguins, seals, and sea lions thrive. In 2005, a Northeast as designated the CADO de Hornos National Park, which includes Cape Horn Island, as a World Natural Heritage Site. That's all, friends. Share this video, leave a comment, and don't forget to like it if you enjoyed it. See you soon.